American half pound, 2 pure beef patties, lettuce, tomato.
Singles going steady.
This is Singles Going Steady, the podcast dedicated to exploring great singles with a particular eye to the punk, new wave, and DIY eras of the last century. I'm Steve McGowan.
I'm Adrienne Madoc, and we're in a band, the Beef People, who released a single in 1986 on our own label, Zub Records. But we're also record collectors and passionate especially about the expression of pop music perfection that is the single recording. Exploring the mysteries of what make for a great single is what propelled us to begin this podcast. And this is episode number
067.
067. And it is by a wonderful group.
Yes, a very unique and interesting band from England called the Housemartins.
The Housemartins. And this is the unparalleled exuberance that is Happy Hour.
Yes, beautiful. A beautiful single, Happy Hour, with the instrumental The Mighty Ship on the B-side. This was released in 1986 in Britain on Go Discs, and in the U.S. it was on Chrysalis Records. I actually have a copy of the 45 on Chrysalis with the picture sleeve and everything. This is a great song.
It's a great song. It is undoubtedly the happiest, most joyful song about the world's worst night out.
Yes, very, very well put. So let's talk about the Housemartins for a little bit. They're from Hull in England, and you say, where is Hull? It's in the
Hull?
It's in the northern part of England. It's kind of if Liverpool is on the west, Hull is on the east coast, up about that high. It's kind of near Leeds and south of York.
So Hull
nowhere near London.
Oh, right. So it's a backwater,
yes,
right?
I mean it's in the northern areas. So the you know how the British are, the English especially. They'd be like, yeah, they're the bumpkins from up north.
And that's why the title of the album is particularly, cheeky, which is
yes.
what London Zero,
Hull 4.
Hull 4, right?
Yeah.
So it's
referencing football.
Football, right?
Yeah, and not American
footy,
football.
right? And that's because, so you get this pride that they are from Hull, that they are the outsiders.
Right.
Out of the general stream that is bustling London.
This is a very interesting band formed. They had a very interesting ethos. They're very socialist, Marxist, and Christian at the same time. They were go with Jesus, go with Marx. So you don't get that every day with a pop band.
Right. Yeah, you might get one or the other,
right.
But the combination, I was going to say it's unbeatable, but I don't know how many of you know the Housemartins out there, but I mean you should, because they're just musically just superb.
It's really something. The music is kind of jangly. It's not distorted.
Right.
The singing is unparalleled. He's got a great voice. He called himself PD, Paul Heaton. Beautiful voice. They use the harmonies. They use the nice clean guitars. It sounds like they're using Rickenbackers, and good bass. Great songwriting. Should we listen to Happy Hour?
Yeah, we should, because, I don't want to stand.
There's a lot
it's
to
another
talk
one.
about it.
Yeah.
So here we go from 1986, the Housemartins. I believe this is their third single, and probably, in our opinion, their best single. It's called Happy Hour.
It's happy hour again. I think I might be happier for once, and I'm with them and they're happy. It's love with us to be happy that the fire's full of bomb and it's a What a good place to be. Don't believe it. To speak a different language and it's never really happened to me. Don't believe it. Oh no. Cause it's never really happened to me. No. It's another night up with a bus. Following in footsteps overgrown by mice and he serves me. Good women go on trees. And if you catch them right they will land upon the knees. Where they open all the wallets and they close all the minds and they love to buy you all a drink. And if we ask all the questions when you take all your clothes up and back to the kitchen sink. What a good place to be. Don't believe it. Speak a different language and it's never really happened to me. Don't believe it. Oh no. Cause it's never really happened for me. No. What a good place to be. Don't believe it. Speak a different language and it's never really happened to me. Don't believe it. Oh no. Cause it's never really happened to me. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. It's happy hour again and again and again. It's happy hour again and again and again. It's happy hour again and again and again. It's happy hour again.
So this song is, lyrically, it's just fascinating, and I wrote some lyrics and stuff like that, but I don't
Yeah.
always focus on the lyrics. But
Yeah.
these lyrics are just masterful in sort of counterpoint to the exuberance of the music.
Yes.
Here you've got the social situation that many of us are familiar with, right?
It seems very British too.
Right, because the
Yes.
pub, of course,
A lot of drinking going on.
yeah, and the social obligation to go with the noxious boss. It's
Right.
sort of like the Office, British Office brought to life.
Right.
Where the poor House Martin protagonist
Yeah.
is dragged into the pub with this misogynist, awful boss, who I assume is pressuring them to drink and pressuring them to pull the birds.
Right.
With this horrible, abusive, misogynist, dim view of what you need to do to get the ladies to talk to you.
Yes.
And of course, this guy's success rate, I'm sure, was not very good.
No, I'm sure he
The
wasn't.
boss,
No.
right? And then here you've got this gentle soul
Right.
who's
Who's horrified. Obviously
by the
horrified.
situation. Being stuck at the pub,
Yeah.
being stuck with this horrible, specimen of humanity who also happens to be the boss.
Yeah.
And
With the continuing refrain of "It's happy hour again,"
what a good place to be.
and then don't believe it. It's just genius.
Yeah, it's just a masterful,
Yeah.
undeniably, compact statement of a situation that we can identify
Right.
with if we've not been in it ourselves.
Right, and almost everybody has.
Everybody's been in a socially awkward situation,
Yeah.
and when you add sort of the toxic masculinity,
Yes.
and of the boss, right?
Yeah.
So that being
Kind of have to do what the boss says, right?
This is the other half of the Me Too movement, right? Which
Right.
is where being pressured as to be one of the boys,
Right.
right? And I guess that this is the way that you can speak out in song, right?
So the lyrics are genius, but the tune itself is just catchy as hell.
Right,
I
right.
mean, with the way it just moves along with the guitar sliding up and down, killer bass. And then they come in towards the middle and the end with the rousing backing vocals. Everybody singing "It's Happy Hour Again,"
Right.
Just like it was like the best day of the world,
and it sort of sets up the situation, right? It's happier again. No,
Yeah.
where you've got this the lead pleading, sort of the reasonable man,
Right.
the protagonist viewpoint.
Right.
You've got the pressure, the peer pressure of the chorus, right? It's happy hour. No.
And instead of a guitar solo, they use chimes. That's just, it's so classy, you know? It's just like ding, 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 ding. It's
the production.
The bells are tolling, literally.
Exactly. I mean, somebody out there should write a term paper on this. I think maybe,
I think we've got one started.
I think, maybe we're doing that.
Yeah.
You know, this is my oral defense of the paper I did not write.
Right. So you can tell that we're pretty excited about this song. And,
Yeah. And, you know, we talk about our friend Joey. And
Yes.
Joey was...
He was a champion of the House Martins.
Right. He kind of looked like, you know...
He looked like he was in the band,
Right,
actually.
an escaped House Martin, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. The Southern U.S. House Martin.
Yes.
Yeah, and
He
you can see
introduced
why.
us to them, and you know, being working in the record store, and he was like, "You got to check this band out; they're amazing." And of course, he played it for us, and we were like, "Wow, this is amazing!"
Where do I sign up?
I know,
right?
He was always right about music, and he was just a big fan.
Yeah.
So it's always good to remember Joey. He's the one who came up with the term "zub,"
Right. So
among a million other things that we say every day.
Definitely the patron saint of
Singles Going Steady and
Zub.
Zub Records.
And you know, there's a B-side here too.
Yes, and let's play it because it's a little tidy, catchy instrumental,
Yeah.
and it's called "The Mighty Ship." So let's listen to that now. The House Martins from 1986, the B-side of Happy Hour, "The Mighty Ship." Speaking of economical, there we go again. You know, Adrian and I were speaking earlier about this song, about how it doesn't have any lyrics and any singing, and it doesn't need it. It's all there. It's got everything you want.
Right, it does. And, you know,
Yeah.
it's almost like a dance cleanser.
Right.
I really like the way that you've got this sort of heavy things to think about from Happy Hour. You
Right.
almost need just like
Yeah.
an exuberant
A little-
dance,
a little
joyful. Yeah, right. This
Palate
is
cleanser.
definitely.
It's got it's a double-tracked harmonica. There's more than one harmonica going at a time, which is pretty impressive.
Well, one's not enough, right?
Well, of course not. Oh, not for the House Martins.
But I was thinking, you know, that sometimes you have instrumentals and it sounds like they just they ran out of lyrics.
Right.
But this is
Or it's just a half-assed song that hadn't been finished, you know.
right. But I'd like this as a perfect little, you know, like a petit four.
Yeah. It's
You
like,
know, it's sweet and it's whole
sweet
and
and short,
it's beautiful.
and it's all there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, kudos to the House Martins for, you know, not just putting Drek on the B side, you know,
Right.
as a lot of bands do. You know?
And showing restraint and
Yeah.
saying, you know, that restraint when there are
Yeah.
two harmonicas.
Yeah.
But, you know, not forcing lyrics over it, especially when they've got like this weapon that is Petey Heaton.
Yeah.
right?
great. Great. One of the things I was reading about them was that Heaton said that he hated to write love songs. That he thought they were trite and they were stupid, so he would write songs about Marx and about religion.
Yeah, right. As you do,
which is much more interesting, for us anyway, because we've heard plenty of love songs. So the House Martins were very popular in Britain for a while. They never really made much of a dent here. I didn't see them live. Did you?
No.
I don't know if they even played over here, to be honest.
Right.
I don't think they even really tried to break them in America. I'm not sure.
And because we've got this little British scene here. I mean, they're sort of unabashedly
very British. Yes, very British. They put out London 0 Hull 4, which is a fantastic album. There was a second record called The People Who Grinned Themselves to Death,
right.
which has a great song on it called Me and the Farmer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is great.
Joey used to sing that one all the time.
Right.
And that was it, really. Then they broke up, but they went on to do other things. PD or Paul and Dave Hemingway formed The Beautiful South.
Right.
Which is like a kind of a lusher version of...
Right. They sort of
more adult version of the House Martins.
Right. It's more a grown up.
Yeah.
Without sort of the sort of the unbridledness, if I can use that term.
Right.
The House Martins were just pure
pop rush,
joy. Yeah, I mean,
although they would do occasionally, they do an a cappella song.
Right, and there was a lot
get
of
into that gospel thing, yeah. Which,
so
they were a head scratcher in a lot of ways,
yeah.
Which is, you kind of like that in a band, they throw some things at you that you wouldn't expect, And
I don't mean this in the pejorative sense, but the beautiful South is a little more adult oriented, contemporary without being drecky.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's not dreck. It's enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's good stuff, but it's not the dance party.
That's right.
The thinking man's dance party that you get.
That the House Martins were.
Or that they could be when you weren't getting the clap-along gospel.
Of course, the famous person from the House Martins is Norman.
Oh, yeah. Everybody knows Norman, but maybe not as Norman.
Right. And he became
Fat Boy Slim. Right. So Fat Boy Slim did make it on both sides of
massively.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you were around for the MTV video that showed constantly with Christopher Walken
dancing on the ceiling and
and Christopher Walken likes to point out that he started in the business of show as a song and dance man.
He's a hoofer.
He hoofs
he
remarkably
was a hoofer.
well.
Yes.
In the video for, I think, Weapon of Choice. And
which is a great video.
It's a great video.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good song, too.
Yeah,
I've got a lot of regret that it's like, this isn't House Martin-y enough. But, you can't have House Martins all the time.
And then there was that Funk Soul Brothers song. I forget which one that was called.
He had collaborations with Bootsy Collins, right?
I mean,
so
the real deal.
If you want to talk about a funk soul brother, I mean, he's the definitely the ace of base there for sure, but not ace of base. So you've got the spawning,
lots of interesting stuff coming off of the tree there.
Definitely,
for sure.
So your recommendation?
Well, what about covering?
Oh, covering.
Who can you hear covering Happy Hour?
I had two thoughts because you've got this message, and I was trying to think, who's righteous enough to bring that across, and I was thinking about maybe Jason Isbell.
Oh,
I'm not quite sure musically what he would do, but I mean, he's sort of. He's
lived that life.
He's got he's got the right attitude, right? I would believe him in bringing that message.
That's a good one. I like that one a lot.
And I was also thinking, who are some other righteous dudes that could bring this message across? And I was thinking they might be Giants.
Yeah, I could hear them playing that song.
Yes.
Pretty much just like the House Martins.
Right. So I think that they could definitely do it justice. So I would think, that there would be three guys that would be believable.
Well, I have somebody that he's not in favor at the moment, but when I say who it is, you'll definitely hear him singing it. is Morrissey. I mean, come on. Don't believe it. It's very dank.
Yeah. I
But
think,
I mean,
think you're
you
right.
know he would do great with that song.
Oh, yeah. I think you're right.
And it kind of sounds like a Smith song in a way, too.
Yeah,
So, you know,
I think you're right.
That's not a bad thing. So what are we going to recommend this episode this week?
Well, my recommendation would be, and I think we've talked a little bit about. We've got a presence on Twitter for both our band,
Yes.
The Beef People, and for Zup Records,
Singles
Going
Going
Steady,
Mm-hmm.
and with
And those are at Limited
Zub
Zub and at People Beef.
at People Beef. And I know
on Twitter.
You know, Twitter's not everybody's cup of tea, but I adore
No.
Twitter, and
Yes.
I've got to tell you,
I do too.
One of the reasons you should join Twitter is for an account that's at @m_crouton, which are videos and photographs posted from a farm sanctuary in upstate New York.
Squirrelwood.
Squirrelwood Equine Sanctuary, I think is what it's called. And they post daily videos of the animals in the sanctuary. And Crouton is a rescued veal calf.
Yes.
And it's just
the cutest creature you've ever seen.
absolutely just adorable.
And there's dogs, there's goats, there's pigs,
It's controlled chaos.
there's horses,
There's
ponies.
geese, there are turkeys, you know, and mini ponies and donkeys and mini donkeys and big horses.
And you start to follow them and you start to see their personalities.
Absolutely.
You know, and they're little creatures with their own things going on, and you can tell, you know, it's just a wonderful, wonderful account.
Yeah. So
They take videos every night.
So there's nightly crouton, so you can
Right.
see the animals bedding down in their stalls and getting their cookies. So it's just wonderful, and you know, I can't end the night without my nightly crouton to
It's true.
see what's going on over at Squirrelwood.
Yes, and I'll have to tell you, honestly, it's contributed to my trying to become a vegetarian.
Right, yeah.
When I see these creatures, I was like, well, you know, I just can't do that anymore,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
That's a whole different story, but, you know, that's just my own personal thing. It's an amazing place. They're doing really good work. Nico Case is involved, I understand.
Yeah.
And
I think that she drove the getaway car for the rescue of Crouton.
yes, and they have a new veal calf now,
Yeah,
don't they?
yeah.
And a new little puppy as well. So there's
yeah,
always
there-
something going on.
Right.
there.
I keep saying that
Yeah.
the next animal is going to be the cousin Oliver, right? That makes the storyline go to pot. But no, everyone's welcome. Everybody's wonderful. Everybody's their own creation.
It's a great thing. My recommendation is going to be if you're going to check out the House Martins, either of their two records that we mentioned are great, and we'll link to them. They did put out a kind of a compilation. I think it was only available in Britain, but I do see it in record stores every now and then. It's a double. It's called Now That's What I Call Quite Good. It's two records. It has pretty much everything you'd want from the House Martins on it. It's just a great listen from beginning to end. Has covers the earliest stuff to the latest stuff. A wonderful band, very clever band, smart band, poppy band, and this is just a great single.
Yes.
You know, you should check out the House Martins.
I think you'll be edified.
Yes, it's a good thing. All right, until next week, we will talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
All right, Singles Going Steady, 067, the House Martins, Happy Hour, the Mighty Ship. Bye now.
Next time.
To learn more about the artists and recordings we just talked about, visit our website at zubrecords.com and click on the Singles Going Steady icon.
You'll also find links to the persons, places, and things we recommend, and much more.
You can find episodes of Singles Going Steady on our website or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Singles Going Steady is brought to you by the power and majesty of Zub Records. Zub Records. Smart sounds for sharp people.